No matter how fantastic my life actually was, I couldn't enjoy anything. That put me into a really sad place, which I struggled to get out of. I got stuck.
My name's James Verboon.
So my name is Luke Robbins.
My name's Brodie Shepherd.
I've been living in Exmouth for the last 10 years.
I live in sunny Exmouth and I own Mutt's Cafe.
I've worked as a youth worker, as a professional firefighter, a touring musician, and my latest adventure is a small ice cream business. In my occupations, I've had constant reminders about how important mental health is. With youth outreach, it was about teenagers' self-esteem. As a firefighter, responding to suicides or suicide attempts. I don't take any of this lightly, and I'm grateful for the lessons that I've learned from that. Exmouth is a really special place. We have a really strong community that loves the reef. We're all here for the same reasons, and we can connect on that.
Well, I basically came here 10 years ago for the ocean, and now I stay here for the community. But the physical side of things, you can just anytime get down here for a swim like this. Beautiful beaches around here.
In a fishing rural town. Living in Exmouth, and not just Exmouth, like these small towns, people don't talk, and Australians in particular aren't super open with these kind of things. And in towns like Exmouth, where everything's, there's a lot of good things about Exmouth. You go fishing, you go surfing, you go Wales, everybody's got this hype and everybody's showing this amazing life, and underneath they're not showing what's really going on, and it's hard to express that when all people are showing is all the good things. And in town, there's not many spaces to share those kind of things, especially for men. I'm right, mate, they don't talk about it, which is really sad.
I don't think there's much going on for the help of mental health up here. The hospitals are pretty limited staff, and I think they're quite lacking in funding, because I have heard rumours that they're actually cutting funding to Exmouth Hospital in the last few months.
What I hear and what I believe is that a lot of people suffer from loneliness. The modern life we live is really fast-paced, and we spread ourselves really thin, especially with social connections. It's quantity over quality, and I think that lends to loneliness. I experienced a lot of grief in a short period of time. My partner relationship ended, which I was heavily invested in. That rocked my world. Shortly after, my dad died of a rare cancer, and shortly after that, my uncle passed away in a freak motorbike crash where a tree branch fell and hit him on his head as he was riding, and he died instantly. This was all within a really short span of time, and I didn't know what to do or how to cope with it. That put me into a really sad place, which I struggled to get out of. I got stuck. The grief was really tough. No matter how fantastic my life actually was, I couldn't enjoy anything. My behaviours were changing. I was a bit self-destructive. I sabotaged my relationships, and my actions didn't match my values.
Well, I've had a few injuries lately, so that hasn't helped in the last 12 months. Well, the first one was a little shark bite on the hand. Just a lemon shark stole a fish out of my hand, so I was out for 2 months with a broken tendon for that. And that was fine, because then a broken femur made that feel like child's play. So I was on the couch for 4 months, not being able to walk, and in extreme agony on some pretty hectic painkillers. And yeah, the 4 months being stagnant on the couch was probably the hardest time in my life. But I just had so much support from friends and family friends up here who were bringing me meals and stuff. So every time I'd think like that, someone would rock up with a lasagna or something, which was pretty amazing.
I guess the impact of the mental health journey started here in Exmouth when I started the business, which is something that you don't realise is a massive feat on your emotional well-being. And I have a hormone disorder, which I knew about from the moment I started my cycle. It's called PMDD, which is a premenstrual dysphoric disorder. Basically an extreme version of PMS. It's all the PMS symptoms times 1,000, and it's a mood disorder, so that's kind of the worst aspects of it. You're completely out of sorts, really emotional and sensitive, and that was when it was affecting the people around me, like my partner, and the people that I was working with every day were the ones who would be impacted the most because they were getting the offsets of it, like my poor partner. And also myself, like one of the main symptoms of PMDD is just suicidal ideation. I think it's something like 35% of people with the disorder attempt suicide in their life. So it's something that in the support groups and stuff they talk about a lot, because it is something that comes up for everyone who goes through it, I think. Because it's a cycle and you don't see an end to it, it's like 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, and you just don't see an end. So that's when those thoughts start to arise. And when it gets to the point where you're having these thoughts, it's like, like something's going on if you're getting to the point where these thoughts are reality for you. Really hard to explain to other people, especially men, but even other women who don't experience it. It's really hard to diagnose.
So being stuck, I knew I needed a reset. My friends and my colleagues and my family were really supportive of this. I was quite open about it. So I took some time off work. I focused on what I needed to do. I focused on what I loved to do. I had to come back to taking responsibility for myself and how I approached every day and get back to that optimist mindset. I learned to forgive everything that happened in life through that period and also forgive myself for how I handled it, and ultimately had to start making choices about how I was going to be a better person again and find the best of myself.
I guess that was just the severity of the injury. They could know how hard it must have been for me, so they were helping out as much as possible. But yeah, there were still times once coming off oxyendone or whatever, and people asked if I had any withdrawal symptoms, and I always say to them, nah, nothing at all. I mean, I just felt like everyone hated me for a week or two, but so I think that kind of was withdrawal symptoms now that I think about it. But now that I'm active again and out diving and at the gym, it's, yeah, feeling a lot more positive.
I went to the health professionals, a lot of them actually, and I had like therapists, and I have a menstrual coach she's amazing, and it's really good to talk to someone who actually understands that. Having a good support network with your friends. Exercise is really important, and the basics of like eating and all those things that make you feel good. They're really important when it comes to your hormones, and I have to be pretty strict with it, like not drinking coffee first thing in the morning, which is really hard when you own a coffee shop.
For anyone struggling out there, I can say from my personal journey that sometimes it feels like you can't move at all, you're just absolutely stuck. So just focus on putting one foot in front of the other. And the more you put one foot in front of the other, you start moving, and soon enough you'll be in a whole new place and you won't even think about looking back.
Just feeling like you're part of something, and also when you're out and about with people, you don't have to listen to your own brain as much. Sometimes when you go and sit at home and Netflix the whole day, it's pretty comfortable at the start, but you start overthinking a lot of things, and yeah, you're just being out active. I guess community is active as well, even if usually when you're with someone, you're either walking around or playing a sport.
Finding someone and being honest and raw with them, it's super easy to, when people say, you know, how you going, how are you, you're just like, yeah, I'm good, when you're not, and to take that really hard step sometimes to be like, I'm not okay, and share your story with someone that you feel safe with. I think that's the first step.